Hello, welcome to the last chapter of To Kill a Mockingbird. This is chapter 31, the final chapter. Let's take a look and see some of the major things in it. Basically, we are going home. We are taking Arthur home. And Arthur's sitting there next to Scout. He's very quiet, and Scout is amazed at how quiet he is. She imagines he wants to go inside. She takes him inside, and in there, he's just looking at Jem. Maybe he's concerned for Jem. Maybe he's worried. And Scout grabs him by the hand, leads him up there, and says, "It's okay, you can pet him." He wouldn't if he was awake, so that's really kind of funny and weird, I think. But he just gently caresses Jem, pats him on the head. Imagine how Arthur feels here. He's saved Jem's life, watched him grow up, basically, but yet he's hurting, right? His arm is broken, he's unconscious, so that's an interesting position to be in. And he says the only thing he says in the entire book, other than a little bit of laughter at the end of one of the chapters, we hear him say, "Will you take me home?" Just a small little quiet whisper. And Scout, of course, does this. But when she takes him home, she doesn't just grab him by the hand and lead him like she did in the house. No. What she did was have him hold his arm, and she put her hand up in his arm so that he would be leading her like a gentleman would do. And she did this entirely for Stephanie Crawford's benefit, right? If she was looking out the window, she would see Boo being a gentleman, kind of breaking that stereotype, breaking all those rumors that she'd said about him. Okay? So he doesn't go around eating raw squirrels. He doesn't go around peeking in people's windows. This is a gentleman. So I liked that. And Scout is thinking of someone else for once. So she goes in, he doesn't say goodbye or anything, and she never saw him again. I don't know about you, but I find this, here's the object of all of her childhood imaginations, and he saved her life, helped her out, he took him home, and she never saw him again. It's a little heartbreaking there. But Scout does something miraculous in this Halloween night, right? Thus began our longest journey together, is how it all started. Scout grew up in this. And Scout's growing up changes the way she sees the world. That's what happens when you grow up. You see the world as you, right? And you can start seeing the world from other people's perspective. That's one of those things growing up is important. It's one of those signs of hitting that age of reason, which you can see the world from a different perspective and stuff. And she's sitting there on the porch, she's standing there on the porch, and she starts looking at all the neighbors, and she realized what a good neighbor is. A good neighbor gives, right? And Arthur Radley gave the kids gifts inside the tree. Arthur Radley gave them some warmth when they were outside on a cold, fiery night. And Arthur Radley gave the kids their life, and she never gave back to him. Okay? So that made her a little sad. And she's looking around at the neighborhood of the porch. She comes up to this idea, and then it's about a page or so, and we get the whole book in review. But we get it from Arthur Radley's perspective, right? We see the kids arguing. We see the kids growing up. We see the kids being mystified when they find something in the tree. We see the house burning down. We see the kids getting into a fight by Mrs. DeBose's. And we see all this stuff happening from his perspective. Okay, Scout isn't seeing the town from her point of view anymore. She's seeing it from Arthur Radley's looking out the window. And I think this is really big in her developmental growth. This is a natural result of, and it was pushed by the traumatic event of Bob Ewell trying to kill her. And she's now able to see the world differently. The world is bigger than it was a little bit ago. Atticus said that to really understand someone, you need to walk around in the person's shoes And Scout was like, no, with Boo Radley, just standing on his porch was enough. She understands him better now, right? She walked him home, and just standing on his porch, she understood him, right? She finally is able to look at the world from someone else's perspective. And she's never been able to do this at all until this Halloween night. So she goes home, has a cute moment with Atticus. Atticus is sitting up with Jem, and she wants to sit up too. She goes to sit on his lap. He reads to her, and of course she's falling asleep. And we pick the book, The Gray Ghost by Secretary Hawkins. And this is an interesting story. It's very popular during the time. And Scout knows the story inside and out. And she falls asleep. Atticus is putting her to bed. And she's like, I heard every word. And she retells the story to Atticus. And if you look at this, you can see how the Gray Ghost applies to Arthur Radley, right? He was a malevolent phantom, if you will, and he's this pale person who is ghost-like. In the book, people thought he was a bad person, but in real life he wasn't. And here, Arthur Radley, they had all these crazy views, but he wasn't. He was real nice, as Scout said. And Atticus mentioned something that is one of the major themes in this book. Most people are nice when you finally see them. Everything in this book boils down to that sentence. Most people are nice when you finally see them. A lot of people look at this book and say this is a book about racism, and it is. People look at this book and say it's about busting stereotypes, and it is. Most people look at this book and it's all these things, and you can wrap it all up in that most people are nice when you finally see them. Racism, and you've got the color of their skin or their nationality or their religion, and you've automatically judged them, and you automatically know everything about them, which isn't true. But when you finally see them, you know who they are. Okay? And those stereotypes fall away when you finally see the person, when you finally understand who they are. It's a remarkable story. It took us 31 chapters to get this. And it took 2 kids being attacked. And it took an African American getting killed needlessly. And wow, what a journey.